it's based on the code, because code CW was first. So instead of saying QRL, you get on a frequency. 5 words a minute, you're automatically upgraded to HF. And you basically say, is this frequency busy?
Is your dummy load on there?
Yeah.
Privileges.
Let me see.
Did you had it on the other?
No, we got it on that, eh?
On 40 meters.
We got it on that one. And we got it on the...
40.
You put it on 40? Okay. There we go. Now that, you have to know the band plan. Okay. Let's go on 200. Anyway, so you would listen. Nobody's there. Pick up your mic. Is this frequency busy? This is VA3ZB. Is this frequency busy? You don't get an answer? CQ, CQ, CQ. This is Victor Alpha number 3, Zulu Bravo, VA3ZB. Anyone on frequency? So that's the way you do it. He'd come back and he'd say VA3ZB. This is VE3 OTL. How do you copy, old man? And then you take it from there.
Why you wouldn't say that?
You might.
Call you an old man?
Yeah, they say old man. Oh yeah, they say that all the time. Old man.
Yeah, well,
Sure.
Old man is
Old
a
boy.
shot.
Old man is it's not a derogatory term in
The British way.
in radio. Oh no, old man is used. Old man, old boy. It's used all the time on HF radio. Okay, so then you get the SSB answer. But here, if you can't understand, you're using the phonetic alphabet. Okay. You're saying over. Then you get the and it's the same as CW. The station that calls owns the frequency. Keep going. Information is basically the same, but there's no tone report, so it's only going to be 5.9 on voice. That's the strongest that it could be. Okay, the SSB chat, the same as on the Morse code. If he wants to chat, then he's going to let you know. The SSB excuse and the end using 73 and 88. Okay, moving right along. Repeaters. The repeater procedures. Repeaters are different than HF and code. We got everybody's attention? There's a lot of activity going around. Everybody listening? Okay, repeaters are different. You don't use signal ports on repeaters. If you're using a repeater, you'll hear a courtesy tone. It's a little bleep that tells you that you're on the repeater, a courtesy tone. If there's no courtesy tone that you hear, either you're not making the repeater or you're operating simplex. Okay, so you check what you're doing here. Okay, I can't let you listen to the courtesy tone because we can't get out. So,
That courtesy tone, that's automatic, right?
it's automatic, comes from the repeater.
That's the first thing you hear when you connect to it?
You could junk it, and it'll give you a little bleep. A little bleep. That tells you you're on a repeater. Okay? Yeah. If I had a radio, I could show you, but I can't do it. So readability strength signal reports are not given because you're either making the repeater or you're not making the repeater. So if somebody says they want to know how they're hitting the repeater, if it's a good signal, you say full quieting, or you say you are breaking up. That's about what you give in terms of signal reports. Okay. And the word break is not used on a repeater unless it's an emergency or a life-threatening situation. You don't use break. You can use it on 11 meters, but you do not use it on a repeater. Okay? And you should identify with every over. Why do I insist on identifying with every over? And saying, on HF, I insist on saying over. Well, the reason is if you don't say over, right, then the other guy doesn't know when to start talking. So then you're going to get the two signals on top of each other. So I always like to say over so the other person knows it's his turn to start, okay? Okay, emergency communications. There's two possible situations. Distress, where life and property are in immediate and grave danger. On CW, you use SOS. On single sideband, you use Mayday. And on a repeater, you use break. Okay? When it's not serious, but it's getting serious, it's urgent situation, life may be threatened at some point, then on CW you use SOS, on single sideband you use pan. So it only changes on on sideband, on voice, and repeater you're still using break. Yes.
Do you use our radio if you're still in cell phone service?
On
So if we're in an emergency and our cell phone works, can we still use our radio legally?
if you, I don't understand.
Okay, if I'm at an emergency, I
Yes.
still have cell service, so I can actually call the police.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you use that?
Can I legally still call SOS or break on the radio without getting charged?
If you're using your cell phone,
Yeah.
Well, if you
No,
can-
we're using our radio.
if you're using your radio,
But
Well,
we still have other means of communications.
oh,
I'm just seeing if you're paying attention.
if you have other means of communication, why wouldn't you use it?
Because somebody actually used a radio and they could have used another phone, and the police
Oh yeah, right.
chargeable.
Oh yes,
Or
that.
District Canada should say chargeable.
Yeah, that was Alan. This was an example that Alan gave. I guess the guy was a little, really wanting to use Mayday or Pan or something, and he used that where he didn't really need to use it because he had a cell phone. So he was actually charged in that instance. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was the logic behind that? Because it's if I had access to a radio and it's a legitimate emergency, there's not no law that says I can't use my radio.
You can use the radio, but if you have a cell phone and you can make a, with you, then you don't need to use the radio to make the
You
contact.
can't charge someone for logic. Like,
What if I don't want to use the phone?
what happens if the phone?
District Canada would still
Yeah.
charge.
Alan is going to be here.
It should be whatever you have in your hand. I'm having a heart attack and I have my phone and I can push a button and I can just say SOS.
That's
Like,
what
I don't, this
Thing
I would
is-
have to unlock, dial 911. This I can just hit a button and say SOS.
Yeah, but one thing you
Or
can't,
Mayday, so,
your radio, they can't track where you are. Cell phone, they could.
yeah, but I can talk, I can tell somebody. what-
Okay, I'd like to hold on this because Alan is going to come in. He's the radio inspector, right? And he's going to tell you why the guy was charged, okay? And explain that part of the law because some of these laws are,
That sounds like a cat.
But what I think you should also understand is that you cannot use these emergency things or urgency or distress. You cannot use them unless there is really a problem. If you start sending SOS over the radio and there is no problem, you are in big trouble.
Can I
Okay.
mention one thing first?
Yes.
Just so you guys know, a friend of mine, he's a ham. He actually was up at his camp about 20 miles southwest of Montreal River. There's no cell phone service. There's nothing up there. If you can get a radio phone, you're lucky to have it out there, but you have to be at an actual camp to do it. He didn't have it. His father-in-law basically was dying from he fell in the water, and he actually went out and went right on the OPP's frequency, and he just called for emergency. He used whatever frequency he could find to get somebody, and they didn't do anything because it was
Yeah.
he had no other means. So
Yeah, in an emergency, okay, where life is threatened or about to be threatened, you can use any means available. You do not need a license, okay? If it's an emergency and this radio is sitting here, you can use it. You do not need a license at that point. Just use it.
I think with Alan, it sounds like, when Alan was saying, it sounds like maybe the person it wasn't a legitimate emergency.
Yeah,
And he
well,
just wanted to go on there and say something and it was the
I
wrong
think
thing.
there was an accident that happened on the highway or something, and there was a house right there, and instead of going to the person's house and saying, there's an accident, can you call the police? He just used his radio.
now there's something about Mayday, which I don't know. Did it come from the French Mayday, which means to assist me? It means help me. I think that's where it came from. Mayday, which means in French means means help me. Okay, let's move along because we've only got 15 minutes left. Digital communications. This is on the test, okay? There are several advantages to digital communications. The bandwidth is narrow and thus allows more signals to in a given band. So look at what happens to FM. 1500 kilohertz, AM 6000 hertz, single sideband 3000 hertz, CW 800 hertz, and PSK 60 hertz. It is very narrow, but the information gets through. It's a distinct advantage. Also, because it's narrow, it eliminates interference. The system has automatic error correction in it. That's another advantage of digital communication. You don't need high power. You can get away with 25 watts on PSK. Okay, let's move up. You type on your computer rather than using a key or microphone. The disadvantage is the duty cycle. Keep your transmissions short so that your rig doesn't overheat. But most of these rigs nowadays, this one has 2 fans in it, and I can talk for quite a while on PSK. And when the second fan comes on, it's like a vacuum cleaner, and it doesn't cut the power. So this rig is very good for this. Okay, digital terms. You need to know these. Most people know this already. So this is a quick review. You need to know what bits are formed from ones and zeros, and bits can be formed by shifting to a different frequency. This is called frequency shift keying, and it's used in RTTY. And most people know this from computers. 8 bits form a byte, and then you have the ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Most people know this. That's what makes up your alphabet. Baud, you need to know what that is. That's the rate of transmission in bits per second. This rig is set up for 9,600 baud to communicate with the... so those are standard computer terms that most people already know. RTTY is radio, teletype, and telegraph. They brought this in the war, and these were big, huge machines that you typed on, and they sent the signal out, and the bits were called mark and space, zeros and ones, and they're 170 hertz apart. They'll probably ask you a question about how far apart the mark and space are. Okay, it's constantly transmitting the mark. And if you hear it, it sounds like tick, 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 and then all of a sudden it'll flip up 170 hertz, okay? That's RTTY. You'll need to know this. RTTY uses a 5-bit code. This is really ancient technology, Second World War. Uses a 5-bit code. It's called Baudot or Murray or ITAT. A2. There'll be a question on that. It provides only 32 characters, and therefore they have no uppercase. And the problem with RTTY is no error correction, none whatsoever. Are you free?
That's RTTY right there.
Okay. Can you hear it cycling? Hear it cycling? Okay.
Yeah, we're good anytime.
That's good. Packet. Now, you went from RTTY to Packet. Packet was the next development, and actually Packet is the basis of most digital operating modes nowadays. And this was developed by Doug Lockhart, VE7ADU. Yes, and it's called packets because what they do is they have a package of information, and it has a header and a footer, and it has various identifying pieces of information in there, plus a checksum, so that if the packet is wrong, if there's an error in the packet can be resent. Then it has the information in it, which is in forms of the ASCII code. So all these little packages, your message is broken up into all these little packages, and the transmitter sends them, and the receiver then receives it, and if the receiver doesn't receive it correctly, it sends a message back to the transmitter, says transmit that again. Okay, so it keeps sending it until it gets correct. Okay, so that's a real advantage of packet radio. Yes, there it is. It has the packages that it's sending. That's why it's called packet. Okay, a checksum allows for error detection, and thus faulty packets can be resent. It's a great improvement over RTTY. RTTY has no error correction at all, and the ASCII character codes are sent in packet. They're part of the package. Okay, let's keep going here so we don't run out of time. Whoops. In the past, we used a terminal node controller to send the packets. Now it's just your computer sound card. And they usually ask this question too. The packet protocol used for amateur transmission is AX 0.25. Okay, they will ask that question. It's kind of a useless question, but you know, that's one of the things they'll ask. PSK 31. This is a further development of packet. It's very popular nowadays, but it's only one of the digital modes. If you get Fliggy, you will see that there's got to be 100 digital modes. Plus, you could even send pictures by one of the digital modes if you wanted to. It was developed by Peter Martinez, G3 PLC. Now, if you're an amateur, you know that the G3, he's either in England or Scotland. Okay? The 31 comes from the baud rate of the transmission. That's where 31 comes from. And it was designed, that 31 was designed so that you could type normally and have a typing conversation. But the bandwidth of it is only 60 hertz. That was the problem with packet. Packet, you really couldn't have a conversation with typing. PSK overcomes that. The transceiver is set to one frequency. You saw this on Fliggy, for example, 40.07, and you use the radio's bandpass to tune within that. Okay, let's move right along. Okay, can we click on that Wikipedia site? Can we control click? Down a little? Yeah, oh yeah, control click. And we should get Wikipedia. And if we can click here, there's sound on this, right?
I don't know, maybe there should be.
Okay, click on that. We should get the sound of PSK. Up, 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 down, down, down. Up, up, up. Right there.
Just a little bit.
Uh,
That's right. Left, left, there.
click,
Almost. There you go. Click.
click. And you hear it changing? You could shut it off. Okay, that's what PSK sounds like.
Don't click it again.
Now, what some people do, because I'm used to Morse code, I have the earphones on, and I'm listening to all the signals. I'm listening to them on PSK. Because when a signal comes on, there's an identifier package, and that makes a really kajunging, pinging noise. And so that's usually what I'm listening for, then I know a signal has come on. But you don't have to listen to it if you don't want. Okay, so you can use an interface such as Signal Link. I showed you that, and the programs are Digipan and Fliggy, and they're completely free. Let's click on the next one. We'll show you the interface. Yeah, we'll show you the interface from, yeah, there it is right there. Signal Link USB. Okay, and you can get it for any radio. even an old one. Okay, let's go back. Okay. However, some rigs can accommodate digital modes on their own with a built-in sound card. This one can. Just need a USB cable. Okay, click on the next one, see what we got there. This is the Fliggy program, right on the internet. There you go. You can download it right there. No problem. Is this the latest version?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just go to their website, just type Fliggy in Google and
Okay, here are some of the kinds of questions they're going to ask you. Which of the following terms does not apply to packet? You see, terminal node controller, well, that applies to packet. ASCII, does that apply to packet? Yes. AX25, that's the protocol. So Baudot, what does Baudot apply to? The Baudot code. We just went through it.
Is that not
It's
a,
very older encoding systems.
Which one?
PSK31.
No, Baudot is RTTY. It's called Baudot or Murray. Okay, that's the code. It's the 31. It can produce 31 characters. It only uses 5. 5-bit code, yeah. And so that is Baudot. And it's underlined. Look at that. When selecting an RTTY transmitting frequency, at what minimum frequency separation from a contact in progress should you allow to minimize interference? Well, now you have to know how many hertz does the RTTY shift up. It's always on mark. How many hertz does it shift up to give the space? 170. So which one do you think, if you're going to not interfere with it, which 6 kilohertz, 3 kilohertz, 250 to 500 hertz, or 60 hertz? Which one would you use? If it's 170, it's shifting up.
I guess you'd probably want 3 of the
3 kilohertz?
no 3 like answer 3.
Answer 3, yes. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Right.
I mean 6 kilohertz is
Way
like
too
nothing.
much. Yeah. So you want to give the separation of 250 to 500 hertz on RTTY from each signal. Okay. Digital transmissions use signals called blank to transmit the states of 1 and 0. Now, see, they always throw a curve in here. You know, it should really be 0 and 1, high and low, whatever, but it's really what?
3.
3, yeah, mark in space. Yeah. That applies to, you know, to RTTY, but that's the closest right answer for that one. How would you modulate a 2-meter FM signal to produce packet radio emission? Connect the terminal node controller to the receiver's mic input. Connect the terminal node controller to interrupt the transceiver's carrier wave. Connect a keyboard to the mic input. Connect a DTMF pad. That's a DTMF pad. Digital dual tone, multiple frequency. DTMF, dual tone, multiple frequency. Let's say it's multiple frequency. So which one are you going to do? I gave it to you before.
I believe it's answer 1 then.
Connect the terminal to the, yes, that's the one. But that's what we did in the old days. As you see now, we don't do that. We just, this goes to the radio, this goes to your computer, okay? But when you had terminal node controllers, that's what you did, and that's still in the question bank, so you need to know it. Okay, now, we're running out of time. Mike, can we do a contact? Oh, no, you do it.
oh, you do it, you're fine.
I don't even know what to do.
That's not encouraging for the teacher to be saying that.
No, but I don't use,
It's gonna-
I can't come there because I'm going to blow the, oh, here.
You just don't know,
Okay.
you don't know what to talk about?
I do know what to talk about, but
9100 has the most on it right now.
Talk about the difference between boxers and briefs.
why don't you turn your mic off?
9100.
Yeah, just identify yourself like you would and say you're going to go to
So which number do I use?
9100.
9100.
Right now they have 107 nodes connected right now.
Okay, so I got to put that in.
Yeah, just plug in 910, just identify yourself.
VA3ZB for the IRLP. I don't hear anything.
No, still 9100. Hit the transmit. Hit the transmit.
Oh, sorry.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't. So how do I clear it?
Yeah, here, I'll just punch it in, you can call. There. And then you key it up and hit 7.3 later. There.
Welcome to the Wind System Reflector, 9100, Lake Hunt.
Wind system, where is that?
Thanks for waving a hand, Lloyd. I'm glad to hear the good news that the radio's on the way.
Right now there's 107 people
You can
listening
get started
right now.
building your own. It really is something sort of special about building your own stuff at least once. So
Okay, so
it gives it that personal
now we're
touch
doing
when you
distant
use it
communication
once, you feel
without an
good.
HF radio.
It's making you feel good.
We're just using a handheld. This is going through a repeater, Mike's repeater.
Let you go. 73 K732.
Okay? And then it's going through the internet. It's called IRLP. Which stands for Internet? IRLP.
Relay linking program, yeah, project.
Internet Relay Linking Project.
I think, yeah.
Okay. So could I just call CQ now or just...
If they're not talking there, yeah, you can call out there and talk to whoever you want.
VA3ZB monitoring frequency.
Usually leave 5 seconds before you talk and then be up, and then if somebody wants to come back to you, they'll come back to you.
Say you're doing teaching
Yeah,
class
tell them
reading.
you're teaching.
You need examples for the
Yeah,
class.
ask them, yeah, see if somebody will talk to you.
This is VA3ZB in Sault Ste. Marie, Canada. We've got a amateur radio class going. We'd appreciate it if somebody could come back to give us an example of how IRLP works. Over.
Well, you're really sounding good over there, and I'm here in Riverside, California. This is Bruno, Kilo Alpha 5, Zulu X-Ray Delta on an HT.
Okay. Well, Bruno, very good to talk to you all the way out there in California. We're here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. It's at the junction of Lake Superior and Lake Huron on the St. Mary's River, and we're just concluding our lesson for tonight on establishing a station and operating procedures. So I wanted to show the students how IRLP works. So back to you, Bruno.
Comment? Okay, I'll go ahead and take a comment. Go ahead, comment, and then I'll come back.
For the Canadian station, you might want to go ahead and ask for a wind system demo, and that way you'll get to hear everybody monitoring right now. 60 TJ Mobile in West Hills, California.
Do I just ask for a wind system mobile? What is that?
System demo. It's another system.
Okay, can we go for a wind system demo? VA3ZB? How do you do that?
You'll go 5 up, front, drop, Mike.
Somebody else is linking us up.
Yeah, it's another system, so they're linking from IRLP now to the wind system.
This is Kilo 8, Lima, Romeo Charlie, Logan in Blanchard, Michigan.
There you go.
So two systems.
KM6 FTD in San Jose.
San Jose.
So
860
now-
TJ in Los Angeles, California. Mobile.
County,
and then they went and now somebody else is linked from IRLP to this wind system.
November
Based on
Hotel
another voice over
Victor,
IP.
Council
So it's a
Bluffs,
whole bunch of- And they
Iowa.
can also do that with D-Star now. So they can link D-Star
What
to
they're
it.
doing now, Mike, is they're basically showing everybody.
Kilo Mike 6, Delta November Mike, Smith, California.
This is just tagging it.
KJ6 WXH, California.
Yes, he can.
All at the same
Oh,
time.
yes, he can. He can talk with them right now. He keeps
Flight
up there.
6 San Bernardino,
Yeah, no,
California.
I understand that, but everyone's doing a check-in, you're waiting, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Whiskey Hotel 6, Echo
Honolulu, Hawaii.
Nice.
KG7 IHI, Bonnie Lake, Washington.
Bonnie Lake, Washington.
Now, see, we don't have access to the wind system.
That'd be a
because
good
that's
time.
down in
That'd be a
California,
good
I
time to
think.
thank them.
No, we're not.
KG5, CER, Houston, Texas.
Texas, Houston, Texas.
K7Z8, Bob, Beaverton, Oregon.
What systems are on there?
You're listening,
Echo Sierra, Mobile, Hollister, California.
you're listening
Smart
to the
idea.
IRLD, but they've linked.
TULC,
which is
7 for me to California.
So if he wants to go in there and say B3ZB,
Hello, Delta 6 Alpha, Papa Papa, Island, California.
Do you have to break or tell them?
No, you can't break. If you hit break, that's emergency.
Break is not, we can't use it. Break.
Oh, on this one, did you?
Any radio.
you wait 5 seconds.
See,
before-
the thing is what,
Well, I want to thank everybody for checking in, and this is VA3ZB, and I'm really amazed that we got to Honolulu. That is entirely unbelievable. Students here are all gobsmacked. They're all very thankful for this demonstration. So, one and all, thank you very much, and we're going to be closing down 73. Thank you.
no, see on this, what,
Three.
what happened at
Oops.
one time, CBs, people that came up on the CBs.
Thanks for visiting the Wind System Reflector. Lake Hollister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say break on a ham radio, it's an emergency.
So how do you break in, other than using the word
No.
break?
Break in
Breaker 19.
is bad.
Well, how do you do that without saying break in? I mean, how do you
Oh,
talk?
Like that guy, he said comment.
Comment?
See that one gentleman said,